Now that I have all my puzzle cubes measured, I'm going to start to do some stuff with them on Excel. And the first thing I need to do is go into File, Options, Add-ins, and make sure that here this says Excel Add-ins, click Go, and you have the Analysis Tool Pack checked. That'll make sure that you have a Data Analysis tab right here. Okay, now I want some specific information. I want the mean, median, mode, range, max, min, and standard deviation. If you double click between two cells or up here at the very top, it'll expand until it's big enough to contain all of the data inside it. If I want to take this whole list of data and put them in order from smallest to largest, I could click this button. Or if I want to sort it by something else, I could click this and it gives me a lot more options. Okay, for mean, all I have to do is say equals, and mean is the same thing as average, so I type AV, the word average pops up, I double click it, and I highlight from A1 to A27 and hit enter. Median equals ME, double click median, highlight everything, hit enter. Mode equals MO, we're going to select multi-mode, highlight everything, click enter. Range we don't have a good one for, but max we do, equals MA, double click max, highlight everything, click enter. Min equals MI, double click min, highlight everything, click enter. And standard deviation equals ST, or go with the population standard deviation, highlight everything, click enter. For the range, we want to actually do equals, and we will say the max, so click on that cell, minus, click on the cell for min, hit enter. Your numbers should be different, but it'll look about like this. Now we also need to make a histogram. Before we have a histogram, we need to make a bin. Now bin has ranges of values, so I want to make sure my first value is less than or equal to the smallest number that I have, which is 0.735. Then I'm going to go up a few thousandths, so I'll say 0.738, 0.741. I'm just going up 3 thousandths each time. So 735 plus 3 is 738. 738 plus 3 is 741. After I have 3, I can highlight them all, and Excel will recognize the pattern. I can hover over this little square in the bottom corner until my cursor turns into a plus sign, and drag that down until it goes greater than or equal to whatever this was. So my preview said it was going to be 765, and I stopped it there because that's greater than 764. Okay, now that I have my bin range, I go up and click on my data analysis toolbar. I select histogram from the list and say OK. My input range is going to be this whole list of numbers. My bin range is this whole list of numbers. Make sure you do not have labels checked. That's assuming that this data has a label on it, but we're just selecting the data. Output range, highlight that, click somewhere on the sheet. This is where it's going to spit out the information, and make sure you do have chart output selected. Hit OK, and there's a histogram. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. Or do a couple quick things to it. If you click on Chart Tools with this selected, we can go into Layout, Grid Lines. We're going to add some horizontal grid lines on the major axes. And I don't like this frequency thing here, so if I go to Legend and turn off my legend, I don't want this to just say bin. So instead, I'll say thickness. And that's really looking pretty good. One other thing you might do is with the the axis titles. We can go into the options for this, and under alignment, instead of it being at 0 degrees, we can have this be, I don't know, let's say 45. Oh, that moved the wrong one. Let's go back to 0 for that. What I meant to click was data labels. So we do want to go into data label options, and here we can look at alignment and change the angle to 45 and see what that looks like. No, we don't want that either. Really wanted this axis. We're not going to worry about it. What we have is probably good enough, and we're just going to leave it like it is. Matter of fact, might even go back in here. Looks like I screwed up by putting little numbers over the top of everything. Go back into layout for your data labels and turn that back to none, and I think this is good to go. So let's print it out. You go File, Print, and select the Graphic Arts printer. And if you selected just the histogram, if I go back to my home page, this is still highlighted. Check off of it any of the empty boxes around it, then come back to File, Print, and now your print preview will show everything. For scaling, you want to say Fit Sheet on one page. Now put everything on one page and print. You only need the one side.